When was it happiness became all about the money that you've spent? Cause I'm too busy thinking about food in my tummy and the rent. Cause there's nothing funny when you're hungry for bread. Do you know the kind of pang that has a grown man searching for crumbs in his bed? And the rumbles, well, they sound like thunder ahead. Because the truth is, it's the system that's holding the gun to your head. Because they spun you a web about the sun never sets. Well, try feeding that to a poor tramp camped up under the steps, who never has the funds, he goes hungry instead. Slumped on the floor till his body goes numb, then he's dead. So no wonder it's dread, and there's a whole generation with no love for the feds. They can't be creative because the funds have been bled, and the school system that's built to keep them under the bench. And low achievement has got them feeling like they're stuck on a fence. So instead of dreaming, started dealing and got done for intent. And you wonder why his mum was incensed. She used to pick him up from school. Now she's making trips to Feltham because her son's on a stretch. Paying for the train while she struggles with debt, while some stuck-up exec fills up his pockets at the public's expense with a fat black wallet as she fumbles for pence, while he's putting funds in his hedge in an offshore account where the plunder's been sent again and again until his hunger's been fed, because he's shielded by laws from which him and his sons are exempt, whilst we're getting done for contempt. See, the disparity of wealth is damaging my health. The lack of love has got me feeling like a mammal in a cell. And every day they've got me feeling like I'm packaged on a shelf because I can't manage by myself without the hand of someone else. Rations have got me strapping up my belt, feeding me on scraps as they fatten up themselves. And yet I should be thankful for the hand that I've been dealt, like some placid cocker spaniel in a shed, or some battery farmed animal that's bred for nothing else than making sure that other animals are fed. That's why they'd happily have you working in a factory till you're dead and give you just enough to feel like you can make it out the red. But if you work hard and pay the bills, well, you can make it out, they said. And with a bit of good old graft, you can carve yourself a check. But then all the people starving you'll forget. You'll soon realize your time with them, well, that was just a test you had to go through to show you were thankful for everything you get. But as for waiting for the rest of them, I wouldn't hold your breath. There's not enough to go around for us all to be execs. But don't stress. It's not your fault society's a mess. And why kids are going hungry, well, that's anybody's guess. Because you can still afford to buy your wife a nice new dress. So the fact that there's still poverty is probably for the best, because if you didn't have the poor, then what would you do next? I mean, look at the way they treat themselves. They've got no self-respect. And if they act like fucking animals, well, what do they expect? But if you looked a little deeper, you would see that that's neglect. Because when you're pushed into a corner and you ain't got nothing left, and the only way to make a little bit of cash is through robbery or theft, then I confess, I'd be up inside your crib looking to get the jewelry off your neck and all those pretty chains that you keep locked up in that chest. And that's something that we all have to accept. If an ill-earned pound is all that you can get, because there ain't nobody hiring an ex-con, and you can't afford to get from one job meeting to the next one, and all your self-respect's gone, and all your son wants for Christmas is an Xbox, and you can't afford to get one. And your daughter, she isn't happy with her phone because all the kids at school are saying she ain't got the best one. And you're fed up of being stepped on, sat there staring at a check like where the fuck is all the debt from? Let alone where the rent's gone. And there's no one left to ask for cash because they've all already sent some. Well, that's enough to tempt one. And the sad fact is, it's passed down from one generation to the next one, and it's the same poor people who get preyed on from day one until they've gone too far from the path that they strayed from.